Jesus. All right, hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is Rob here at Smirking Gun Reviews, and we're back talking comics again on the channel. And today we're talking about Nightwing number 83. I know I've never talked about Nightwing on this channel, and there's a reason that we're talking about this one today. So anyway, to get this all other stuff out of the way, if you're liking what I do on the channel, don't forget to hit the like button. If you're new to the channel and you're not a subscriber and you're just passing through or whatever, make sure you hit the subscribe button on the way. It helps the channel out a lot. And if you're returning, welcome back. How you doing? How's everybody doing out there? It is time to talk comics. But first, there's a couple other things I'm going to be talking about just briefly in a lot of my comics videos, and that's touching on two things that are important. One is where I get my comics, and one is someone who talks about comics for people who want to get a better collection, things that are more valuable for your collection. And if you're, if you want to like just build up a nice, solid, good collection of stuff where you can get firsts, they're cheap, or if you just are just wanting to speculate to make money off of your collection. So the first thing I'm going to be talking about just quickly is Mr. Miracle Comics on YouTube. Okay, he speculates like once every couple of weeks. He does 5 books, sometimes a little bit more, where he discusses undervalued comics that people aren't really talking about. There are a lot of channels that want to cover all the big stuff, the big kind of derhays that everybody knows you should be looking out for. But these are the books that fly under the radar. And while they are speculating, I have found nothing but an immense amount of help looking into books that I want for my own personal collection. I don't do this to sell. I do this to find the books that I forget about. And because I work 40 hours a week, I don't have the time. I don't have the time to look all this stuff up. And Mr. Miracle Comics has been helping me find and cut through all the other stuff and find the books that I'm really looking for, that I don't even know I'm looking for sometimes, or the books that I've forgotten about, that I knew about, but they're gone because there's a lot going on in my head. And so the link for Mr. Miracle Comics channel will be in the description below. And the second thing we're going to be talking about before we get to the video is I want to talk about where I get my comics. I've mentioned it in the past, and they don't sponsor me or anything. I've thought about reaching out. I might still reach out. I talk to them all the time, the guys at my local comic book shop. But that's Graham Cracker Comics. They've got stores all over Illinois and some of them out of state as well. But that's where I get my comics. I'm going to throw a couple of pictures up here right now. Okay, so that's what the outside of my comic book shop looks like. That's the name of the place. The link to their online store will be in the description. And I'm bringing up the online store because Graham Cracker Comics, these guys are great. They have a great selection. But their online store is bar none for me. And it's not because I go there. I've been to a ton of online comic shops. And for the most part, I have a hard time finding things. You don't know, I don't know how to word things right. Graham Cracker Comics' online store is so freaking easy and accessible. When you're looking for something, it's so simple. And I'll give you a quick tip for navigating it. Don't use the word the. If there's a the at the beginning of the title, lose it. Write the word otherwise, the name otherwise, and it'll pop up. They've got such an extensive catalog. It's crazy. You know, not every issue has an image, but you can look those images up yourself, sure that you're looking at the right thing. But telling you right now, they've got so many ways to ship. If you live in Illinois, you can, and you're close by one of these stores, you can actually have it shipped there rather than to your house and pick it up there at one of their stores. Or you can get it shipped anywhere across the country. And I'm telling you, they're fast. The books come in very, very well protected cardboard, and so and wrapped up like FedEx to you. You know, you can spend what you want and get more, but I've always gotten it FedEx. It's always been so great. It's wrapped in plastic, then in cardboard, all sealed up, perfect. So Graham Cracker Comics online, and if you're in Illinois or you happen to be, I think there's one in California, and I believe there might be a couple in Wisconsin. I don't know for sure on that. But go hit up Graham Cracker Comics, one of their stores or the online store. Seriously, you won't regret it if you are looking to get someone that can deliver your comics fast and has a ton of stuff, not just a back variants, other stuff that you're looking for. So that's my spiel on that. I know I'm talking a lot about this stuff and not talking about the book, and you could have skipped forward, but I just want to start doing this more. I want to start talking about this stuff. I'm not on a clock here. I do this for fun. So here we go. Nightwing number 83. Now, Tom Taylor, this is written by Tom Taylor, art by Redondo, and then you got Lucas with the, I believe. Now, I have never talked about a Nightwing comic book. I hadn't really collected too much. But I got into the Tom Taylor Nightwing mostly off of the strength of his deceased books. I don't read everything Tom Taylor. I know he's got some independents out there and other books he's working on. And I think he's the one doing Marvel Dark Ages. I think he's doing Marvel Dark Ages. I'm not 100% on that either. Been a long day. But I decided to pick this up, and so far the run was okay. I was enjoying it okay. They have this whole new wrinkle, spoilers by the way, that he's got a half-sister now that we find out about. And that was kind of interesting, but it just wasn't, you know, after all these years throwing this in there, it was kind of like, okay, whatever. It's fine. But then we get to the what's going on in this actual story. And to do that, we're going to have to talk some spoilers about Tom King's Batman run and the repercussions of that. And also, I mean, I'm to give you a little preview of how much I like this book. I'm actually dropping the flagship books of Batman and Detective Comics because they're running like $5 each these days with these back end stories that I'm not interested in, and honestly the stories that they're telling in them, they're not grabbing me anymore. And same with the Joker, and that's not against anything against Tinian or Tamaki. Those are expensive books. I think Joker's like $6. And the stories are just, I think I'm going to start picking up the trades down the line for these. I'm not going to stop reading them altogether. But Nightwing and Robin, I've actually been enjoying quite a bit, and I won't be dropping those. And I won't be, and I'm also been more interested in like the Elseworlds and the Black Label stuff, like Batman 89 and Justice League Last Ride and Justice League Infinity. I've been really into these books that aren't part of the normal canon lately. I think they've been a lot better. But Nightwing, on the other hand, this issue really stood out to me. I'm going to be talking about all the books that I got for the week, and I usually like to do one or two books that stand out. This is the one that really stands out for me this week. I've enjoyed a bunch of comics this week, but this one brings up the issue of what happened to Alfred. I think that's something that's been a real raw nerve for a lot of people, because in Tom King's run, which was up and down, maybe you loved the whole thing, but when we got to Bane, his war near the right at the end of his run, Robin Damian Wayne goes in, even though he's told not to, and it leads to Bane breaking Alfred's neck unceremoniously in front of Damian. And it was just this thing that if you weren't enjoying that run already, killing Alfred like this, people thinking it, maybe it's not real, like there was a lot of emotions that a lot of people are still feeling about this, and he's just a fictional character. But Alfred's been a very, very big, huge, monumental part of the Bat world. I can't like stress that enough. He's not Batman, but he's the father figure. He's the guy. He's the conscience. He's the one that keeps them all straight. He takes care of our Bat family, and it's to the point where, like in Robin's book, he's seeing Alfred because he feels that guilt. And Nightwing, Dick Grayson, received the inheritance of all of Alfred's money, which is billions. And now, so Dick Grayson's sitting on billions of dollars and trying to figure out what to do with it. And in this issue, we finally know what he's going to do. I like this. I do like this cover of him like going up there and then changing clothes and then coming on stage saying, my name is Dick Grayson and I have an idea. And it's a really great way to put it. But this issue doesn't just have that. It has a great moment between Dick and Babs. It's got a great action sequence with Blockbuster and him in a helicopter. Them coming in after him talking to his sister at the beginning. Them coming to terms with this new relationship. Him not trusting her. She has ties to organized crime, and how we find out, and spoilers for this, man, all right, just pick it up, trust me, you'll still want to read it after I'm telling you about it, but we find out that her ties are more complicated than what he thinks. She is not doing what he exactly thinks she's doing. She's much more honorable than he realizes. And I mean, right after that, and the art, like, look at this, like some of this looks like that shot right here. That's like an animated series. Like, look at that. The light behind him and everything is Blockbuster. That's his name, right? I'm new to his world. Yeah, Blockbuster. As they fight on this rooftop, just great stuff here. I couldn't believe how much I was enjoying this issue. As they're firing at him, and he charges the helicopter, runs up to it, just comes right up to it, like jumps up there with his acrobatic skills. And this right here, I had to look up over a bunch of times, but he shoots his his batons, swings through the helicopter, knocking the guys out and keeping them tied up. It's so cool. I had to look at this a few times to realize what he just did there. And I was just like smiling from ear to ear, and I haven't done that with this book yet. But he's all hurt. He's beat up. He's been run through the ringer. And he's got Tim Drake with him, and he's got Babs trying to help him, and he's all passed out. And he finally wakes up, and he's got this idea, and he starts to go to everybody. He goes to the Titans. He goes to Lucius Fox. He goes to, Leslie Tompkins. And then we have this amazing, I'm sorry, but I was so happy reading this too. This was reminding me of when Daredevil and Spider-Man and Zdarsky's run were talking to each other about what was going on in that book. And I was just like, oh my God, they got, the Zdarsky in that book had gotten Spider-Man and Daredevil so right. And in this, Tom Taylor is nailing Superman and Nightwing's interaction here, where Nightwing is telling him like, I'm coming to you because you're basically the best person, the most honest, most human person I know. Like Superman's kind of like, thinking he's come to him because he's like an outside party being an alien. And just their interaction, I don't want to spoil it all, but like, it's just fantastic. I mean, just sitting down on top of the Daily Planet, having a conversation. It's just so well written. And you know, if you know anything about me on my channel, whether I'm talking about TV, movies, comics, games, I am story and character more than I am like art. It's nice when the art is great. It's great when there's synergy. But this just really knocks it out of the park. He has this moment with, making sure that whatever happens, they have their moment, and it's really sweet, and it doesn't feel tacked on or cheesy. And he goes out there and he tells her, like, he's making the Alfred Pennyworth Foundation, and he's doing this while everybody else is paying attention. In the background, he's getting text messages. He even gets one from Bruce, who he was avoiding this because he knows also that Bruce likes to avoid conversations like this. And he says, I know, like, hey, you don't usually call, Dick says. And Bruce says, I know, I'm sorry, but you, Dick, you honored him today. Thank you. Meaning he honored Alfred, and there's the picture of them. And it's simple. Batman doesn't need to take over. He's not taking over the book, you know what I mean? Like sometimes he can. They might have him do. And then at the end, we've got somebody, the guy who's been ripping out hearts, and how this is impacting their situation. And he's like, I owe him so much. He made me who I am today. But I have plans for Bloodhaven, and they really don't line up with Dick's vision here. I'll have to take his heart before he gives it to the city. And that's it, man. And it's just, this guy who's been ripping out hearts is an interesting story. I didn't think I would like it. I thought it was a little too simple. But the thing is, maybe I needed to take a step back, because I'd never read Nightwing before. I didn't know much about Bloodhaven City. And I'm liking it more and more. And I think it's because I'm not as familiar with Nightwing's world, and I'm kind of enjoying this new foray into this side of the DC universe. And so Nightwing 83, man, I think this might be the best book of the week for me. It's close. There's a few that I really like, but this is the one I decided to single out, so I know there's something special here. So anyway, that's my recommendation for this book. So if you like this review, please hit the like button, comment, share, subscribe, hit the bell for all notifications. If for some reason you disagreed with me and you just listened to me ramble on, just shaking your head about what an asshole I am about it all, well, I've got a solution. We can give you the last 16, 15 minutes or so back if you didn't like this. If you did like this, please put on some shades, look the other way, hit the floor. I don't care if you have a sensitivity to light. Please do not look directly into this, as we give these people a better memory. It's a shame, though. It's a really good book. All right, here's hopefully a better memory than what you just heard. Have a great day. See you on the next video.
The psychos just keep getting younger.